Lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
For some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Dick's House of Sport in the Mall of Louisiana. Welcome to the Wednesday edition. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott. Jordan Kitchen's back in the studio. Glad that you are with us today. Randy McKay with us today. Starting our NFL previews.
Chicago Bears.
Starting in the middle of the country. The Bears, our first team up. We'll talk over-under and season outlook with Randy about that. Scott Rabelais is back off of vacation. He's back with us today. He was watching World Cup matches with the British fans in the UK. He's got a few things to share about watching over there.
He had a little slice of Bruce Marshall's life, huh?
I guess, for a little bit.
Well, Bruce is
we had a little
legendary for these international watch parties of not just World Cup, but, Champions League, Premier Club, all that stuff. So.
Did we get that a little bit light when we went to Ireland? We had a rugby watch party.
No.
They were pretty excited. Not the World Cup excited, but they were. They wanted to fire the coach the next day.
I understand. It was when you're 8-1 favorite and you lose and you're losing the whole game wire to wire. But
I know that pub was packed at 8:00 in the morning. Of course, that was every day over there, I guess.
Yeah, Charlie.
It's St. Patrick's Day week.
This is. I mean, you've seen these things, man. I mean, it's just droves and droves of people. I mean, what was it? The England-Mexico game was delayed, for about an hour. Mm-hmm. And so it already had a night start, which is but in England, I mean, they're wrapping it up. And it was one of the highlighted games, which we've had so many. But it's just a tad past 4 a.m., and they're going crazy. I mean,
sure.
It's so I could see the English, they claim they birthed the sport. So, for whatever that's worth.
Okay.
But anyway, there's a deep history. And, of course, probably the most popular professional league, the Prem League. So, it's, I'm a little slice of.
What if LSU?
I do have, what's that?
What if LSU had to play, just completely hypothetical in fantasy, but if they had to play a college football playoff game in Europe and the local start time was something crazy? We'd be up and it'd be packed, right?
Well, it would be 7 a.m., 7 a.m., unless they do it like they move it for TV. So it'd probably be 11 a.m.
If LSU was playing Michigan in a college football playoff game in London and it started at 7 o'clock in the morning, we would be up. I
know, but they don't do that anymore. Is what I'm trying to say is when they have this week 0 game and they're going to have another one over there, like Kansas State and Iowa State last year, it's 11 a.m. So which is 5 p.m. over there. Or 4 p.m., 4 or 5 p.m. I'm not sure what Dublin is compared to England, but anyway, so that they move it. They've adjusted. In the old days, I mean, no, they're gonna make it for American TV. 11 a.m. will be the shortest. But you're speaking of LSU and this soccer. I finally put my last deal because I had to with against qualifications. Couldn't sleep last night, so I went to work and put this thing together and for you. So here's the qualifications, Charlie. Okay. So you were it's a home game.
Yeah.
Okay, we had a home game.
Okay.
I mean, for the U.S. soccer team. Some momentum. The team had some momentum, so there was some build-up.
Yeah.
Okay. Slightly favored.
Yes.
And the game was completely non-competitive.
Yes.
What LSU football or I guess against baseball, LSU Coastal, LSU was heavily favored. Okay, they were not slightly favored. I thought of the first LSU Alabama. I mean, one of the first game day appearances here.
96.
96.
Yeah.
LSU was a slight dog. They were +3 in that game. I mean, you remember the game. They came down and scored an
it
illegal man
take
downfield,
big, and they never scored
26-0. Sean Alexander doesn't expect to play. He's playing Xbox all night, doesn't get any sleep, and rushes for 291.
Yep.
And like 3
Still
touchdowns.
ain't blocked anybody.
Right. So the 2018 Joe Burrow game, that was a great.
That's the one I was coming to.
Guess what? What was the spread?
Probably Alabama 10.
14.5.
14, yeah. And the other thing we didn't find out about until much later is Burrow never practiced that week. He was not that they would have won if
we
he
had
been
build
great.
up. That place was popping. It was ready to.
We didn't know that until
right, but
much.
But 14.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
I mean dogs at home. In 1997, LSU was 6.5-point favorites against a team. I don't care when they come, what they're coming in. You're getting excited about.
Auburn.
I don't care when you play them. You don't play them often, but when you do, no matter what you think of them,
Georgia.
Or if they overhyped or not, when you got them on your schedule, which is rare,
Georgia.
Notre Dame.
Oh,
come on, Charlie.
What a Georgia game was the Quincy Carter game in '97. No, that was '98. I'm sorry. Then they don't come very often. That's a good.
That was competitive.
It was very competitive. They should have won.
Notre Dame was not.
No, it was 24-6.
24-6. LSU was 6.5-point favorites. Not the most memorable because we forget it, but that at least fits all the qualifications. Yeah. And I mean, like steady, like just mauled us.
Yeah.
Just out physicaled us.
And it was terrible because a month and a half later, LSU thumped them in the Indy Bowl. And it was essentially, in fact, Falk didn't even play, or might have played a couple of plays. That was the Rondale Mealy game.
The Saints comparison is easy.
Big build up.
Favored,
and completely uncompetitive. The first playoff game in the Dome.
Yes,
against Minnesota.
One difference: the Saints actually took the lead, opening drive. Bobby Hebert, I'm in the loge in that corner of the end zone. He hits Eric Martin for a touchdown. It's 7-0. But that 44-10. Now they were 7-point favorites. But that's the best examples. Now, here's the day. Everybody's got a lot of opinions. We are tied for the worst margin of defeat, losing by 3 in the entire tournament. We are tied for trailing the longest of any knockout game. We trailed for 91 minutes. Tied Switzerland and Algeria. Switzerland went up 2-0, 10 minutes in. They played 11 minutes of extra time. It equates to pretty much within seconds. So Algeria, they beat them 2-0. At home versus a country that has just under 3.5% of your population. We have made some progress, but not enough to count. Is my bottom line in this. Right. I don't like that. I don't like playing Charlie Brown when Lucy pulls the ball, or Snoopy. Who does it, Charlie?
Lucy pulls the ball away from Charlie Brown. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not going to listen to just to have And look, man, people giving a coach a pass too. Look. Yeah, that ultimately you can only do what you can do. The players control their effort, but that's where some coaches get paid a lot more because some coaches have the ability to get a response out of players.
Yeah.
Response. I'll never forget when I was going through Bebe Ogeron we're going through the USC locker room, the weight room. And, man, those guys were kind of hollering around and doing their summer workouts and stuff. And when he went in there, man, them cats responded to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the coach he has to get a little ding on this, but when are we going to be back at home? You can't expect to make a move on the road. I mean, everybody tells us, including Max, that home field is big. So I know we're going to move on, but I still enjoyed the games yesterday. How good were they?
They were fantastic.
The second one was dull, but great ending.
The penalty kicks. I mean, that's as tense as it gets. That's a game. That's a field goal.
Playoff
game type of deal. I read 2 columns this morning by 2 separate national writers about the future of the World Cup for the United States, and one of them was we just have to accept this. We're never going to win the World Cup. Okay,
right.
We're never going to win the World Cup. The second one was a little bit more optimistic. It was, listen, you finally did get a good coach in here, But the best, and they quoted 3 legendary soccer coaches. I don't know who they are; it doesn't matter. But these were the Bill Parcells of the
This guy's accomplished.
Yeah,
I mean,
they said, listen, the coach can make a difference in about 10%. Okay,
10% impact.
10% impact. And they broke that down, and they're like 10% over a 38-game EuroLeague schedule. Okay, you can do the math. All right, you reduce that to 5 games, and we're talking about the mathematical impact of this is about less than a quarter goal
would you say
per match.
Would you say it's? I understand, but would you say it because it's on an abbreviated schedule as well, and you're dealing with it's basically coaching the Olympic basketball team.
Yeah, and
I mean,
and you can play over. This is the thing I would take is you can play over your head for a few weeks. We've seen it happen in the NCAA tournament. We've seen it happen in the NFL play. The Dodgers in '88 played over their heads. The A's had such a better roster. They played over their heads for a short series. That's what gives me some hope that, hey, you can catch fire. Would they ever be, I could say I don't think that they will ever be able to have a team of American players that could dominate over 38 games, be the best team over 38 games, a regular season schedule. But could they put together a team that could catch fire? The hockey team did. They were even bigger underdogs than this. So I'm not going to say they can't ever. The Knicks just won the doggone NBA title with one of the worst owners in sports. We finally saw the Cubs and the Red Sox break their streak. The Saints won the Super Bowl, for crying out loud. I'm not going to tell you they can never win it, but it's highly unlikely.
Well, the Knicks also caught some breaks.
They did.
Let's play.
All of these things.
Let's avoid the Celtics.
Yeah.
Let's avoid the Thunder. I mean, Spurs beat the Thunder, but I mean, let's face it, they were not going to have be choke city.
And you might need a fluke play here.
You could get some. You can, but I can't see it, Charlie, because it's just.
No, it's highly unlikely.
It's year round. It's soccer, and more soccer, and this is just something to do in the summer. But the country did get behind them. The country did as far as this, and they know they had the support. They had the atmosphere in those stadiums. I mean, they had leading up. I mean, there was so you had to kind of use your home court. 86th. Did LSU catch some break? Did LSU go to Atlanta and beat Georgia Tech, the number 2 seed, and Kentucky, the number 1 seed? But they don't get there unless they play those first 2 at home.
That's right.
Okay, because, I mean, it was all they could in a buzzer beater in a double overtime game against Purdue and Memphis State to at least get to Atlanta. So it's going to I just can't see it. Not in my son's lifetime.
The hockey team scores a goal with 2 seconds to go in the first period against the best goalie in the world. Okay? It is one of the most improbable hockey plays you will ever see. And that's what they needed to win that game against the Soviets. Okay? Tretiak went to sleep for 3 seconds, and it cost him. It probably
we have a
something
deeper
like
history of hockey here than
but
soccer.
Those were amateurs. These are professionals, at least. Those were amateur hockey
and that's
players.
the other thing. Well, our guys are playing in the European leagues now. And this is what all my soccer buddies tell me. I'll tell you, your most accomplished guy is Pulisic, who's a chandelier. He is.
From what I'm seeing, he's a talented guy who couldn't lead Star of an Ants to a pile of sugar. Okay, he's just kind of phony.
He's fragile.
He's
fragile. I mean, he had a great, but he missed half the season because he's fragile. I mean, and then he led the game. He only played half the game and led the game with 11 turnovers. Laid a tremendous egg.
Let me draw on you tennis for just see if this makes any sense. It's been almost a quarter century since an American man won a major in tennis. Okay?
And I'm watching Taylor Fritz as a slight favorite today lay his own egg. He was about to get beaten straight sets.
So there was a time where American men ruled the day. McEnroe and Connors and Sampras and Agassi. That's been a long, long time ago. Andy Roddick in 2003 was the last American man to win a tennis major. When do you think the next American man to win a major? I mean, you don't have to tell me who. Just on a guess.
Fritz was red hot in this one. Fritz had a chance. Fritz has been red hot. He has been hotter than anybody. Center had to go 5 sets his first one. I don't think he dropped a set before this quarterfinal today, which he's down 2 sets and 3-1 in the third to Zverev. I mean, he kind of had a chance. You got to get a break. You got to. Sinner's still going to be really tough to beat. Zverev may have a chance. The reason I say it, this is Fritz's favorite surface, his style, and this is Zverev's toughest surface, and he's getting wiped out. So here again we are. So I don't know. They got guys, but what they tell me when the college ranks, where tennis mostly here is a country club sport, it's something to do. It's a hobby for a lot of people, or maybe let's try and get as good as we can, maybe get a college scholarship or something. Where again, 80% of your college rosters are foreign. The good ones. Yeah. But there it's you get out the hood type of, your ticket out type of sport, and there's more grit and grind in the development of the development of the sport of the youth era. So they're always going to the other countries, the international players, are going to have a little bit of that advantage.
I don't know that in the next 10 years it is likely, because Sinner and Alcaraz, assuming that Alcaraz's injury is not the worst case scenario, which there's starting to be some rumbles about that, I don't know that anybody besides those two winning a major in the next 10 years would be a gigantic upset, unless the injuries take their toll on both of them. If they play at the level that they have played the last 4 years, they are overwhelming favorites to win.
The major disappointment here was the kid Shelton. Okay,
yeah,
he's highly athletic. His dad played in kind of the Carolinas area, maybe Furman or Davidson, I forget, but he coached at Florida. So Ben, his son, played at Florida, played college tennis. He's kind of just got big serve, big strokes, super athleticism, but a little bit immature as far as his constructing points and patience and going for low percentage shots type of thing. And then he's starting to get a little bit more mature, and then his toughest surface on clay, wins his first clay court tournament a couple of months ago. Okay, he's maturing on his toughest one. He has an unbelievable draw. Unbelievable. Like, he's minus 400 to make the semis and lose his first round. Where this guy, when his serve's on, nobody's breaking it, especially on grass. And so you have these disappointments. So can it happen? It can, because, Zverev just went and won the French without having to play Sinner and Alcaraz.
Yeah,
So
you take that kind of
it can happen, but it's low percentage.
We're here at Dick's House of Sport in the Mall of Louisiana. We're right in front of the Lid Shop by the Collectors Clubhouse, next to the golf area on the lower level. We got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of summer left. I know we're starting to talk about back to school, but not
right around the corner.
But we still got most of July left. You come out, keep the kids busy with $5 student rock wall climbs. I brought the grandkids here. They loved it. July 15th and the 29th from 4 to 6:45. You can also schedule times the rest of the week. Also, free Pilates classes coming up on Saturday, July 18th, Saturday, July 25th from 10 until 11. Evolve Studio leading the Pilates class here inside the store. And if you come and participate, you get $10 off of a $50 coupon. Please bring your own mats there, but your in-store purchase is $10 off right before you get to back to school.
And, Charlie, we were open for 4th of July over here, and you know what a lot of people are getting? Because it's still beach season, right?
Yeah.
All the camping gear, the tents, the chairs, and things like that. We got an unbelievable selection, the best selection around as far as, when you need to take to the beach. A lot of people are going to, whether it's downtown to the firework display or to the park or the backyard, as far as grill outs and things like that. So we got all of that available as well. And so, and look, put this on your calendar now. August 27th. I know it's a little ways away, but you have to RSVP. But 5 to 7 p.m., House of Sport will host a Pack Wars RIP event in the Collectors Clubhouse. So we do the Pokemon cards and things like that. So we've got, Humans just got trapped in Dodger Stadium at the July 2nd giveaway card. It was people. It is hilarious. I talked to him about his experience. We'll get to that later. But he kind of came up on a $52,000 card giveaway that people were coming from different countries and 2 time zones away. And here's you. It's like, why is everybody here? And then he gets his card, and somebody offers him $500 apiece as soon as he gets in. It was a big deal, July 2nd for the Padres-Dodgers game. But we have our own card giveaway over here, and the cool thing about it is, if you've never opened a pack of cards before, it's okay. The event is fully guided by a moderator, making it easy for beginners and fun for the whole family. Even younger kids can participate and have a great time. So giveaways and a little friendly competition, and just kind of, even if you don't know anything about it, it's we're doing it over here at Dick's House of Sport.
Live at Dick's House of Sport, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch from Dick's House of Sport in the Mall of Louisiana on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net, brought to you by Supreme Rice, celebrating 90 years in business in 2026. Supporting our Louisiana farmers, go to SupremeRice.com. It had been 9 consecutive starts for Paul Skenes where the Pirates had ended up in the loss column. That streak came to an end yesterday. The Pirates beat the Braves 12-4. They got Ryan O'Hearn had 10 RBIs in the game. The Pirates' first baseman. He homered 3 times. Skenes had a funny quote about that. I'll get to that in a second. But Skenes threw 6 innings of 2-run baseball, walked 1 and struck out 4 in picking up his 7th win of the season. More encouraging than even that is that the spin rate. We talked about this the last time where the spin rate was down, Jim. So now I want to talk about where it is, because we talked about, should he skip a start? Is there something really wrong, or is this just the ebbs and flows of baseball? Skenes' spin rate, which was up around 2,300 at the beginning of the season and had dipped all the way down into the 1900s during this slump, the last game of this streak, was back up at 2,150 last night. Now, he didn't have a bunch of strikeouts, just 4 strikeouts in 6 innings, but he only walked 1, and the Pirates were in control. They got 4 in the first, and it was a 7-2 game after the third. So a nice, reassuring type of performance for him.
2-out rally. Olsen almost took him yard for a 2-out double. Another base runner, and then an RBI single, and he's like, here we go again. He's kind of struggling, but O'Hearn answers in the bottom with the grand slam, gets him settled down. Braves come back and threaten again. It was 4-2, and they stranded some more. And Charlie wasn't – I can't tell you what his velo and his spin rate was, but watching the game, I'm just like, it was a little bit of a struggle. What inning was that? They got that second run.
Third.
Yeah. So, I mean –
he did give up 8 hits in six innings.
Yeah, there was some traffic.
Yeah.
And – then he gets a 3-run homer, and it kind of demoralized Atlanta a little bit. I don't think with this performance that Skenes is out the woods and all of it. This is a nice. At least you had to stop the streak. Okay,
yeah.
It was Gaylord Perry's brother. Okay, it was the last one that his team lost more games as a reigning Cy Young Award winner. Raymond Perry. You remember him well, huh, Charlie? So anyway.
I remember Gaylord. I don't remember Raymond.
No, when I heard his name, I had to look it up, and it was Gaylord Perry's brother. Okay. He won a Cy Young, and so anyway. But, just think if he was – I was talking to some people, actually, at Kador's funeral, and kind of a guy who specializes in mechanics and does surgery, does some different work and specializes in it. And basically what it is, and then hearing other people talk about it and just listen to a lot of people and everything put together, he's not getting his lower body. Well, why is he not getting his lower body, his core into, his velocity like he did? Because they feel like maybe some wear and tear, maybe in his back or something, is causing his mechanics to be compromised. And so that's the big scare there. But this is nice to break it. It's better than Woodspin. He's had a couple of outings in those 9 games where they lost like 2-1.
Yeah, he gave up 2 runs in multiple
games.
But
the steady decline in the spin rate and the measurables are, and he's not overpowering. And we've seen guys we've seen the hitters adjust. Okay, we've seen that. But his slider in his
Splinker.
Not the splinker, but the other one that everybody they used to
forcing
call it a
fastball.
slider. Now they call it a
the force
sweeper.
Yeah.
The slider and the sweeper are really compromised.
Sure.
Okay, as well the fastball, but he's not out the woods yet.
But could we expect him to go from almost unhittable for nine starts, was it, during that when he
think
didn't walk
7 or 8.
anybody?
Yeah.
Okay. And then slide in this thing and then pop right back. I think it's a nice step back. I don't know that we could have expected him to go all the way back.
His ERA last night, how many? He pitched 7 innings?
6. He threw 95 pitches.
6 2 earned runs. That's a 3 ERA. Yes, this is a step in the right direction, but there was some traffic.
Yeah.
And it could have been. And look, let me tell you, the Phillies game, the worst one. Remember how I told you he had bad luck in that one.
Yeah.
I mean that they could have easily called Baum out, for runners interference. The manager's taking a nap. He doesn't challenge the call, and then you get the 2-out grand slam where Turner makes you pay for not, for that extra out, and they all earned. You see, but so you kind of never as bad as you think, and never good. But the thing is, he had a 5.63 ERA over that 9-game stretch. So it was, There were a couple of them that got really bad. The 1-2 starts back where we gave up 7. Of the 9,
yeah.
7 were kind of bad. So we're not Skenes,
I would feel better if he had struck out 7 or 8, of course, but I think this is a step back in the right direction.
In the right direction, but he's not back.
No, and I didn't expect him to be back.
Look, the thing here, Pirates scoring a ton of runs again. Okay, this is one of these B-list pickups like O'Hearn that we talked about. That third in the league and all of Major League Baseball in scoring. I mean, they are ripping the ball. And one of the many reasons was their phenom. Man, he was hit back like 190, and he can run, he can feel his Gold Glove, and he's just unbelievable. He's huge. He hits for power. Just can he hit for average? He got his average up to 276, and now he's on the IL for 8 to 10 weeks with the broken finger. Broken finger, yeah.
Skenes did have a funny line after.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan O'Hearn.
Selfish.
Three homers and 10 runs batted in. He says, it's kind of selfish. He says, home runs are rally killers. You get a 3-run homer and a grand slam. What now? Nobody on? Nobody can drive him in.
With deadpan.
I appreciate a little dry wit.
No. Skeen, nobody's. Look, he's not going to embarrass you, himself, or anybody else. No.
12-4 Pirates win.
Yeah, it was. God, if they could have, they're still. That was pretty good, losing that kid that's going to be out, Connor Griffin, for quite some time. Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title, for all your real estate closings, 296-0060, full-service title company, servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional services, which you get with their long-standing staff. Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Marion Haynes, Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing, nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds and Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at Dick's House of Sport in the Mall, Louisiana, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch from Dick's House of Sport in the Mall of Louisiana on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Uh-oh, they let the big dog out. Boom! Out of nowhere.
It's time for the big dog, Randy McKay, with his best picks.
Big Dog, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty well. Getting ready to travel again here, heading out to on the road to Colorado again today, and going to stop in Deadwood, South Dakota on the way, and then I got a wedding reception to go to Saturday.
Man, one of our best employees, we lost him over here at a local shop, man. He and I got along great. He operates the TVs. He and his wife just took a job at casinos, and I'm sure he's working in a sports book in Black Hawk, Colorado. Don't you hit those joints, huh?
Yeah, that's where I used to live, right there in Central City. So I gotta get real used to it, and expect high variance. We're talking about a high variance team coming up here. We have high variance weather change living up there.
Okay. I'll let him know. But I need to introduce you guys, man. Great guy, Tommy, who's no longer with the Queen. That a lot of you have known. He's been there since it opened. Has been just really, really. We're gonna miss him. over at the Queen Sportsbook. So I will definitely put you in touch.
That's a pretty nice DraftKings Sportsbook they got in Black Hawk, Colorado.
So there's only one property. I was unsure which property he was at. I hadn't found that out yet.
Yeah, he'll be at Bally's there, and right in the center of Black Hawk there, and they got a DraftKings Sportsbook. They're pretty nice setup.
Okay, well there he is, because he's coming from a Bally's property to in a DraftKings outlet. So yeah, he knows it. He knows it well. Let's start our Well, have you gotten lucky or had any involvement in this World Cup action?
Not so much in the World Cup. I've been betting some of these draws, and especially at halftime when I feel like they're going to, some of these live games when they're going to hit. And I did have a good feel with the Norwegians the other day. I took them, my native country, so I'm kind of rooting for them now. So,
your native country.
I was boat rowing with you there, big dog. I was boat rowing with the Norwegians, with the Vikings, yeah.
So yeah, I bet them the other day, and I'll probably bet them here against England. So we'll see how that goes. But I had them against Brazil, pretty nice plus. So I hit that, and then I've been hitting some draws and losing with some in extra time too. That's been a little frustrating.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's start off football previews today, and start off with the Chicago Bears. And what an interesting team! And how many one-score games did they win last year? So, they did win the tough NFC North last year with 11-6. They stole a game, as they stole several games, but including the playoff game against the Packers. Was it Thanksgiving night they stole that game as well against the Packers? Randy, was that? It was the Thanksgiving night. Yeah, and listen, Ben Johnson. It's early, but let's start with him. 1-32. Where do you have him? I mean, it's early, but man, you got to give him credit. He did a damn good job. As fortunate as they were in the close games, but good coaching is part of winning some close games as well. And much settled down his quarterback, developed completed the roster, improved the offensive line and supporting cast, and certainly developed his young quarterback who they have so much invested. But Ben Johnson, let me guess, Randy, around a 10 range early, huh?
Just outside the top 10 so far for Ben Johnson, and outstanding job. I thought he should have been the coach of the year last year. Of course, Liam Cohn had the big year for Jacksonville there. They could have went to, or Mike Vrabel actually got it. So, but there was a lot of candidates, and they gave it to Vrabel because of the big turnaround in the probably more East Coast media and that kind of thing. But I figure we start with an NFC North team, start with the North teams up here, and then go to your guys down there in the South. They play each other this year, so
right.
So we'll have some competitiveness. But yeah, very good job out of Ben Johnson. You can see his running game, helping his running backs, but the problem coming into this year here is losing this Drew Dahlman and some other leaky holes they got on this offensive line. So we'll see if they can continue running the football, which will help Caleb Williams from getting crazy running around and either making touchdowns or turnovers. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, a lot of things to look at this high variance Chicago Bears team this year.
Yeah, and will they bounce? Yeah, let's talk about the schedule. And I mean, two of the weaker divisions that they're matched up with as far now. They play their 6 games within a division, and that's supposed to be that'll be competitive. I would see the NFC North. I don't know where you have them ranked, but it's got to be one of the top 2 or 3 maybe divisions in all of football. But the AFC East and the NFC South have to be near the bottom. Those are your 6 in division, your 8, with the AFC East and NFC South. Those are tough, but they do play those first place teams in Philadelphia, Seattle, Jacksonville are certainly tougher than, are going to be under the league's year to year. But those teams will be should be pretty tough.
Yeah, and that's what I think is going to get them is them harder games. They won those games against other teams last year. Was the Raiders and that kind of thing. With their variance, the 1-score games and that kind of thing. So I'm worried about this offensive line, 27th ranked. Their over-under is, their overall defense is 27th ranked. So, I'm a little worried about that defense. Eight or so starters gone there. We got the regular season wins, 9.5. I'd recommend that with no playoffs with this team. Shaky, like I said, with the offensive line and very shaky on the defense, which has been addressed a little bit in the draft and free agent. But, they did lose their, the main receiver there in DJ Moore, which was a, key possession receiver for Williams, guy he kind of went to. But they're pretty deep in the wide receiving core. But, with that kind of schedule, I see some opportunity to bet against this Bears team as well. So, I see them regressing, and 9 wins would be their max for me.
What? You had 9.5 at the DraftKings outlet, the Queen and Bally's. Under is -120. Under 9.5 is -120 right now. So it was. And how much do you place that? Those things kind of even out all of the one run, the strong one run record. And we thought it was going to be same as last year because remember the year before, how many games did they lose, by one score that ultimately cost, the Hail Mary in Washington, the clock management disaster on Thanksgiving in Detroit, and some others. And it started that way, that Monday night game, Charlie, if you remember, to Minnesota. They're winning a whole game. And a young rookie quarterback out of Michigan actually uses his legs to beat him a little bit in that one. So, Randy, how much do you put from year to year that will even out? And that's one thing you look at to fade a team that was so fortunate in the one score games.
Yeah, you definitely got to look into that, and you definitely got to look in their opponents. Like I said before, that they get a little tougher. You're playing Jacksonville, you're playing Seattle, you're playing that first place schedule there. Tougher teams. And it's going to be tougher than beating the Oaklands and that kind of crew. So, that definitely falls in. It's going to be a little tougher job here for Ben Johnson. And then this defense, it's hard to evaluate this defense being really that good with, they replaced, their guys with a lot of old guys too. So we'll see if they can hold up. And then another turmoil I see, too, is this whole new stadium issue, and something we should probably talk about there with this team. That they don't even, where's that going? Are they going to be playing outside of Chicago, or what's going on with that this year?
These are the teams, how many teams with losing records that and some of the weaker teams in the league, they beat the Raiders by 1. They beat the Commanders by 1. They beat Cincinnati by 5 points. They beat the Giants by 4 points. That was one they stole. They beat the Vikings. All of these are non-playoff teams that they won by 1 score. So, a lot of them finished 7-4 overall in 1-score games. The last one they rested everybody. So basically 7-3 when they're trying in 1-score games last year, Charlie.
Reconcile this stat for me, guys, in regards to Williams. He was one of the top 7 quarterbacks in the league last year in yards per game. He had more yards per game than Joe Burrow, more than Josh Allen, more than Jordan Love. But you look at yards per completion, he was down in the 20s, the high 20s, less than C.J. Stroud, less than Daniel Jones, less than Michael Penix. How much, with an entire season to look at this stuff, are they going to take the safe stuff away and force him to go further down the field?
Well, first of all, Randy, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that's intentional by Johnson to get the ball out of his hands a little bit, to just try and reduce the amount of him turning into sandlot football and just turn into a Kyler Murray. Where he's not doing anything within rhythm. So I think there was a lot of that underneath stuff to try and to calm, and it's part of the development process, Randy.
Yeah, definitely. And then that's where Johnson, really helped him last year was with that, and but that's going to hurt too. You lose DJ Moore, who was that guy that they were going short to, and they still got the running backs that they like to dump the ball off and get them going down the field. So, but they got that option, and the tight end was a big option for him too. He had a pretty good season.
Yeah,
rookie tight
he's
end,
good.
So that'll be pretty good for him. But then the problem isn't really with their offenses. I'm more worried about their defense. And like I said, 27th ranked, and filling guys with older guys, and it's not a pretty thing. And then will their offensive line adjust here without Drew Dahlman retiring? They're trying to fill it with Bradbury. I've seen enough of Bradbury with Minnesota that, get a big nose tackle on him, and he has trouble like he did in the Super Bowl. And they did draft a rookie lineman out of Iowa, which is usually a factory for them, so that might help a little bit as well.
Remember that game, that 16th game at San Francisco, that Monday night game? They gave up 42 points, 6 touchdowns, 32 first downs, 496 yards. I mean, they didn't even slow down San Francisco, and that's not San Francisco's best offense that they've ever had. So we like the under 9.5. We like no playoffs. What's the price on that? Are we laying a little bit on that? No playoffs?
No, that's right around a pick 'em at FanDuel when I was looking.
Okay.
So I think that's a pretty good one. That might even be the better of the two bets there, because they can win 10 games and not get there. So depending on how the playoff scenarios go.
And an early season fade to try to look to maybe a little bit overpriced. And you spend enough time in Las Vegas that they get a lot of Chicago support every summer with those futures and some of those things like that. So especially with a little momentum after a division and a playoff game winning season. Follow Randy on Twitter at RR39. Thank you, Big Dog. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I had two things in the schedule, too, that maybe
go ahead.
viewers could look at, if we got time here. Week 1 versus Carolina, they're a favorite, and I don't really like them going into Carolina, a team that, it's coming off pretty good momentum from last year. And then the fourth to last game of the year, they play at Buffalo before they play 3 straight games against division teams. That looks like a horrible spot to me, so 2 bet against theirs as well.
Is that's at Buffalo, you said?
That's at Buffalo, yeah.
Well, anybody can give us an opening week game, but the Big Dog looking 4 weeks from the bottom of the schedule. I mean, come on. That's what I'm talking about. Randy, you're the best, man. Thank you, man. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good luck, everybody out there.
All right.
Live at Dick's House of Sport, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch from Dick's House of Sport in the Mall of Louisiana on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Well, we still got a ton of World Cup swag for you. I know the U.S. is out, but still a ton of things to get here at Dick's House of Sport. The ratings are in for USA-Belgium. On Fox, 30 million people watched. On Telemundo, another 12 million people watched. To put that in perspective, that's more than have ever watched a NBA game, playoffs or regular season, MLB, NHL, or college football game this century. Only the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl top the ratings number. Fox got this deal for $480.
But you combine it Telemundo,
Combine it Telemundo, but $485 million was what the rights fee was for Fox for this 26 tournament. FIFA is saying that number will at least triple for the 2030 World Cup. Yeah.
30 or 38?
30. But the broadcast rights. The broadcast rights. At least triple. Could hit $2 billion.
About 20% of the Telemundo watchers this year are actually English is their first native language. Part of it is it's cheaper. If you have Peacock, right? If you have Peacock, you have access to Telemundo, where you maybe don't have Fox Sports in whatever capacity.
On a streaming like YouTube TV, it gives you the option. You want to watch it on Fox, you want to watch it on Telemundo. Okay, so I get it. So some of the people, and maybe their broadcast team for Spanish-speaking people is stronger, and we do have a few Spanish-speaking people in this country. But anyway, it is American viewers. Now, does the Telemundo include in Mexico? Are these all? You see, that's what I'm trying to.
Well,
the
over-under
over-under on the viewership was supposed to be 32 million. So I think that's on just Fox. Say the 30. And the way the game unfolded, it was terrible. Oh,
yeah,
and those are the ratings with a terrible game.
Right.
Imagine if it was real. You had them come out like they did against Paraguay.
You got the penalty kicks. I mean, how many people would have been watching by the time you got in the extra time?
Yeah.
Such a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Yikes. Hour number 2 straight ahead here. We're at Dick's House of Sport in the Mall of Louisiana. Come by and see us. Great summer savings right now and a ton of events that we'll be telling you about throughout the course of the broadcast. Live at lunch from Dick's House of Sport, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Enjoying the finer things in life is his forte. Let's bring in Scott Rabelais from The Advocate.
And we return here at Dick's House of Sport in the Mall of Louisiana. Jimmy, there's a ton of stuff going on here, and, back to school is not that far away. We've got a great deal for free custom bag tags when you purchase a backpack on Friday, July 31st from 1 to 7, and then again on Saturday, August the 1st from 11 until 3. Free engraving with the purchase of a water bottle. And we got some other things going on here toward the end of the month, July 18th and the 25th. Those are both Saturdays from 10 till 1. Evolve Studio is going to have free Pilates classes.
And bring your own mat, Charlie.
Got to bring your own mat.
Yeah, okay.
Every participant gets $10 off the $50
purchase
coupons.
Coupon. Yeah, yeah, nice.
So it kind of helps with your back to school stuff. And if you're still looking for something to keep the kids busy, $5 student rock wall climbs July 15th and 29th from 4 to 6:45 p.m. Or you can schedule a visit. I scheduled a nice visit with the kids earlier this year. They had a great time with it. You can set it to different degrees of difficulty for different ages. Student rock wall, right when you walk in on the Bluebonnet side here at Dick's House of Sport.
It's a way to beat the summer heat, man, too.
No
Get
doubt.
to do something active, get out the house, but also where you're just not just worn down with that heat. We're looking forward to that. We might be, traditionalists. We want the open air stadiums. But if you're ever in Houston and Dallas, you don't want any part of an outdoor stadium during the summer for some Astros or Rangers games. So, no, that's not part of it. We had enough of that. So, anyway, that's you could beat the heat. We've got $5 student rock wall climbs, again, July 15th and 29th, 4 to 6:45 p.m. But always, and just gear from golf to Pilates to pickleball. Maybe we're not a soccer country, but we could be a pickleball country. And maybe that, you know. So anyway, but hey, how about the Lids over here? A new affiliation with Lids, with the wear. Well, look at that. That is some sharp-looking Southern University hats, man. It's got the LSU right next to it over here. We're in sort of the gear part of it, man. And it just had a lot of things, man. I like to get to even some of the stretch kind of golf pants that I wear every day. So, man, they got a lot of good. And they even got your sad-ass Pelicans hats over there,
Jimmy,
Charlie.
I'm a hat guy.
That's Max's sad.
I'm a hat guy. They've got a great hat selection. I like the, a little bit out there maybe sometimes, the rope hats, the little bit less team gear, official stuff. And they've got that stuff too. It's a great selection.
If you're watching along on YouTube, you can see the big selection of Lids right behind us. We want to beat the heat. We go inside. Scott Rabelais, he goes to Europe. He wants to. He wants to beat the heat. He's going to go somewhere where the temperatures are a little bit more.
It's hot
agreeable.
over there, though.
Scott, how was your trip? Welcome back.
Y'all play that little sound effect thing with the champagne pouring, and usually I think, this is a bit much, but that's what it was like, the whole time. It was just champagne everywhere we went. London was hot. We flew to London, and it was hot, but we stayed at an American hotel, so that helps. And then we got on the North Atlantic. We took the Queen Mary 2 from Southampton to New York. And when you're in the middle of the North Atlantic, it's chilly. It really is. The wind's blowing, and the ship's going like 20-something miles an hour, and the wind's blowing 20, and it's fog and rain. It's the whole package. So I thought of Nick Saban. Remember what he said? What he hates. You want to fight in the North Atlantic? You got to train in the North Atlantic. So
yeah,
it's interesting when you're out there 1,500 miles from anything. But that was a cool experience because we're all immigrants, right? I mean, I thought of the people who came over. Hundreds of years ago in just squalid conditions. It would take 3 or 4 weeks to cross the Atlantic. We did it in a week, so that was fun. Wow. It was a fun experience, and we got back and watched a lot of soccer in London, on the ship. A lot of the World Cup, and that was great getting there with all the soccer crazies.
All right, you got to tell us a story. I mean, Jimmy and I had a chance to watch rugby with the Irish, but that wasn't the World Cup. So what's it like for you mixed with the locals? What was that like?
Yeah, the first night we got to London, it was an England-Ghana group match. And so I'm like, I told my wife, I'm finding a pub to go to watch, so we were staying in the Kensington area of London. So I found a pub, the Prince of Tech, and it was packed. People outside, they got their pints and fairly reserved though. I mean, it's packed. They're watching. I guess they're intently watching. And then we had a pub on the ship, and they beamed all the matches in there live every day, and people spilling out. Just tons of people. It was exciting. And we had this one Norwegian fan on our ship. I ran that picture with my column that ran in the paper earlier this week. He was going to the Norway-Brazil match. He was trying to make it over there, which was in New York. And I was like, well, I hope you had a good time on the cruise. It's going to be tough. And then, of course, Norway takes out Brazil. I'm like, man, I'd love to see he was like the ship mascot. I'd love to see this guy where he is right now. He was probably face down somewhere celebrating Norway taking out Brazil, but they certainly were the better team that day. But it was fun. I kind of had to go out of the country to experience the World Cup, in my home country. But with the people who, they live and die with it. We're into it. We're everybody's talking about the U.S. effort and how they crashed out now after a promising start. But these people live it 24/7 all year long, man. It's a different
and that's the difference, and it's just never going to be here, and it's never going to be. I mean, we got worked by a team that's supposed to be, past their prime. We're supposed to be in our prime on our home field by a country that has just less than 3.5% of our population.
I thought about an analogy, Scott. See if this is what if the impression in Europe, at least where you were, of U.S. soccer. I thought of SEC fans the way Vanderbilt's been the last 2 years. It's, okay, you're better. You're definitely more competitive. You've been a doormat forever. So now you're not a complete doormat anymore, but you're still Vanderbilt. Is that sort of how am I completely off base here?
I think you're off.
Well, go ahead, Scott. You were there.
I think that's pretty accurate. I think they look at us, and like the world looks at us, and with sports, the Olympics, always win the medal count and the gold medal count, and just have a well-rounded athletic program. But when it comes to this sport, this particular sport, which is the world sport, they think of us as amateurs. Clearly, no one was ugly about it, but they think of us as amateurs. We don't put the development in. We don't develop the players like they do, and until the U.S. can develop an Erling Haaland, a Harry Kane, a Ronaldo, a Lionel Messi, the U.S. is never going to contend. But truly contend. Like hey, you think the U.S. is going to make it to the Final Four, and they got a shot. They're in the semis, and they got a shot to go all the way. I don't know when that's going to happen. It's been 32 years since the previous World Cup. It hasn't moved the needle somewhat, but not to world contender status. And they just don't see us that way. It's still Argentina, England, throw in Norway because they have a great player. One of the greatest players of the current generation. Spain, France, of course. They don't see the United States as that. They don't see us as a threat either.
Charlie, maybe moving forward, Vanderbilt, but not Vanderbilt's team last year. Okay, let me finish. Let me finish. First of all, they're 10-2. They should have been in the playoff. You're 10-2 in the SEC. You should be in the playoff. Okay, and for damn, we ain't got a player close to a Heisman finalist. No. Not even close. That and who'd they lose? They lost to two teams. They lost on the road to Alabama and Texas, were their two losses. Vandy's team last year. Now moving forward, we still, but that was part of the problem later when the criticism really ratcheted up against Brian Kelly. You lost to Vandy. We don't care if they're 10-2. We don't care if they're playoff worthy. They're still Vandy.
And the transcendent player doesn't work because, no, the U.S. doesn't have a Diego Pavia. But what do you think of Vanderbilt this year? Or you may not go back to being Vanderbilt You may not go back to hoping that you win one, maybe two SEC games, but you ain't going 10-2 again.
They can make the round of Sweet 16 and get bounced.
Well, and that's what
U.S. is closer to Tulane, I think.
U.S. closer to Tulane.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
They're trending in the right direction. They're in a weaker federation, a weaker conference. They can get maybe into the quarterfinal-ish area. They can maybe get in the playoff. They had a really good coach. They're trending in the somewhat right direction, but everyone knows they're not really there in terms of the.
We're not going 6-2 in a European. I mean, the best of the best. No. We're not doing that, Charlie.
Guys, is it the athletes' development? I think it's both. These kids in these countries, Argentina and France. France is like this awesome academy. They go into these academies, and that's what they do. I've said this before on your show probably. In 2017, when I went to cover the Saints game at Wembley in London, I went to Southampton because they're the Saints, similar cities and that sort of thing. So this would be a cool column to do. So I was there. I'm like at their stadium, asking, what else do you have? Rugby. They don't have major college sports. They don't have all these competing sports leagues. Soccer is the third most popular youth sport in America behind basketball and football, and including flag football, which is growing. It's another problem for soccer. Flag football is really taking off in this country. And there's soccer and baseball, but these kids just go off and do other things. No one is focused on soccer their whole lives. LeBron James played soccer as a kid. What an awesome goalie would LeBron James have made? But basketball called him, and he saw a chance to make a fortune in basketball and to have all this success. And look, most of the time, except for this every 4 years when we have this angst about how the U.S. does in the Men's World Cup, most of the time we're happy for the United States to have a well-rounded sports, program, identity. But all these other countries focus on that, and we're never going to have that. I just don't see it.
If this, and we've seen when the World Cup has been at different times of the year in the calendar, hey, sorry, this fills a void in the summer. But if this World Cup were taking place in September in the United States, we wouldn't care. I'm sorry. We have bigger fish to fry.
Nope.
LSU's playing Clemson. LSU's playing Ole Miss. I don't care who the U.S. is playing in soccer, but you put it in July, we're going to pay attention. And it's been interesting. It's kept my attention. Would it keep my attention when there are sports that I've grown up with? No, they just wouldn't. Right. Speaking of sports we've grown up with, we're a couple of weeks away from SEC Media Days, the calm before all of this really gets going good. Scott, it's been a really good recruiting summer for Lane Kiffin, but also it's been devoid of anything else since the Vanity Fair, whatever you want to call that. So I would call that I've always been of this opinion when it comes to LSU football. In the summertime, with the exception of recruiting, no news is good news.
I agree. I agree from an LSU perspective. That's true. No, just some recruiting. Obviously, they have to think 16 commitments with Jaden Anding picking LSU over Ole Miss yesterday. Another log on the fire, right? The LSU Ole Miss fire, isn't it? Lane has maintained a pretty low profile for Lane since that article and a couple of podcast appearances. Remember, he said if he'd coached Ole Miss, they would have made it to the national championship game, and that sort of thing. But other than that, he's been maintaining a pretty low profile, and we're hoping to get an interview with him between now and media days. We'll see how that goes, but yeah, that's coming up very soon, and then he'll be back in the center, the spotlight again. And if y'all noticed, LSU's been on the first day of media days for a long time. They moved LSU to the last day of media days. I think because people are starting to check out on the last day of media days, but they saved one of the main events for the last day, and so that's why we're going to see LSU on Thursday in Tampa instead of on Monday.
We got the 5 different preseason guys. The Athlons, the Lindy's, Sporting News, and Phil Steele, whatever. And I'm thumbing through them. One of them, the most intriguing season, LSU for obvious reasons, the circus atmosphere, whatever, the money that they're getting to learn the coach, not allowing him. We're all familiar with the deal, but absolutely. And you don't have a Saban. anymore. I mean, DeBoer is not close to the draw that Saban is. It's not in Alabama, but absolutely. We've been there enough to know that, some people kind of check out and leave. No, they want a piece of Lane Kiffin, on this one.
I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, and I said, well, either that or they don't want Lane Kiffin to say something so incredibly bombastic on the first day that everybody else has to respond to it the rest of the week, and it hijacks the whole week. Scott, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week before.
Glad you had a good time, Scott. Yeah. Sounds like it.
Glad to have you back.
I did, but I missed you guys. Thanks a lot. Talk to you next week.
We're brought to you by the Thibodeau Store and the Pierreport Store, open in LaRose and Lockport. It is National Grilling Month, so the Broil King specials on the website right now. Save on the Broil King Crowns and the Broil King Barons, both on special right now at thethibodeaustore.com. DeWalt and Channel Lock Tools also on special right now. Your outdoor cooking grills and all of the accessories that go with them at thethibodeaustore.com. Patio furniture, poolside furniture available for you, along with cordless power tools, hand tools, paint. If you're doing some painting, get it at the Thibodeau Store. If you need lumber delivered, if you're doing some additions on your property, delivery is available out of both Pierreport and Lockport. 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux, open daily until 5:30, and the website will get you to all 4 locations of the Thibodeau Store. Again, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux, Highway 70 in Pierreport, and thethibodeaustore.com. Live at lunch from Dick's House of Sport in the Mall, Louisiana, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch from Dick's House of Sport in the Mall of Louisiana on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. From east, north to south, but we're heading west. It's Wes Reynolds from VSiN.
Wes Reynolds, who went to 18 with the chance to hit the bomb.
Wes,
it got wet.
You weren't the only one that was agonizing when you took a little splash. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. I've had a couple days to recover from that meltdown from one Ben Coles, who was about to get his first PGA Tour win and cash a 80+1 for us, and all of it was working out. He had a 3-shot lead until he didn't, and then you knew, like, when he started to, like, correct almost in, like, the middle of his downswing, it's like, okay, something's bad has happened here, and then I'm like, okay, get in the bunker at least, but it gets in the water, so we settle for another close one.
I took it well. Asked my wife. I basically scared the neighbors 3 houses down and put that thing in the water.
Charlie wanted to strangle me through the group text, trust me. So, I mean, when I just brought up the word.
The dog went under the bed,
I didn't say you should have hedged, but I brought up the hedge price. Yeah. And actually going into 18, a hole where he birdied 17 the first 3 rounds, and he laid up on that one. And but anyway, on 18, which name was still a favorite? Got her up. He was like minus 125, 130, something like that. Now, hedging is, first of all, it's philosophical. It's the avid gamblers that I know, it's almost 50-50. And then golf is a completely difficult one as well. But you can certainly, the most ideal time, you got like a 15-minute break going into a playoff. It's a true hedge. And then once Homa he finished 19 under, and he eliminated himself because Goddard was in the clubhouse at 20 under. That's your hedge. What is going through your mind right there, Wes, and did you hedge?
Yeah, well, typically I am a hedger, at least more often than not every single time, like you were saying. Sometimes it's even 50-50. I actually did not do anything with it because I thought Ben Coles was going to birdie 17. I thought he was going to birdie to par 5 and have a 1-shot lead, and then he did. It became the favorite, and I'm like, you know what? I just got to let it go and hope for a playoff, and didn't get it, unfortunately. So that's what I was hoping for, but I think it's a good philosophy. But I think a tournament like that, and especially with the leaderboard, timing is everything. Like when you have several different guys on a birdie fest course, like you had Homa, like you said, in the mix, Glover, Lee Hodges. So you kind of had a condensed leaderboard, so you couldn't really do it until the very last minute, and then I had just missed my window.
And Homa was really charging, until he found it. Boy, was it not Mitchell? Who was the other one that was leading most of the time? Was it Glover? Man, how many short 10-foot putts did he miss?
He struggled putting on the entire weekend. Really.
Yeah. No, I mean, like he was leading. But anyway, I also played my role as a little bit of a jinx, and this is why, because we see how many golfers are so good on the chase, but then they get in position. And especially ones that haven't won, they don't know how to finish. The protect mode is just counterproductive than the chase mode. And here's a guy who has been groomed to win, although it's on a Korn Ferry Tour. And I'm like, guys, this guy knows how to win. I think he's going to close. And did he show some signs of, like, okay, this is still his first PGA win, and that's different because he had 2 total bogeys in the first 63 holes. He had 3, including the double, on the back 9, Wes.
Well, he did the same thing a couple years ago, so you thought, okay, maybe he learned something, because if you remember at the Byron Nelson down in Dallas, he had the lead going into 18, bogeys, loses in a playoff to Taylor Pendrith, and I actually did think he was going to close it out, because even though it's the Korn Ferry Tour, the guy has won. The guy knew what it was like to win a professional golf tournament, and he's won, I think, 5 times on the Korn Ferry, and he's been kind of a guy that's good enough to make the PGA Tour, but then goes back down, and then gets his card back, and then goes back down. That's happened a couple times in his career. So, maybe all those thoughts came into his mind. It's like, hey, I'm going to get in the Open. I'm going to get in the majors. I'm going to get a 2-year PGA Tour exemption. And it probably got into his mind at exactly the wrong time, because he absolutely pulled that.
Jimmy, notice when you mention all his wins on the Korn Ferry, Charlie didn't question you then. He didn't push back on you then. But, of course, when he lost, of course he was going to choke. He was always going to choke. It's been cold.
Max, I'm used to it.
I don't remember saying it exactly like that. I'll be honest. I needed to shake that one off. I don't pull many 80-1s home, and I was 1 hole away from it on Sunday.
I still have scratch marks around my my neck through the telephone on Sunday.
It was best I was home by myself.
We do have a great feel for the Genesis Scottish Open. Wes, what are we looking at?
Yeah, we do, and it's not even a signature event. You got a couple of the live guys playing too, because it's a co-sanctioned event with the DP World Tour, so they gain entry into the event. I started with Tommy Fleetwood, 22-1. Even though this has kind of gravitated to longer hitters in recent years, this guy's got a lot of experience here. 3 top 6s in 6 appearances. Lost the playoff to Aaron Rye back in 2020 before a lot of people even knew who Aaron Rye was. Next week is the Open Championship in his hometown. So I don't think he's necessarily looking ahead, though. I think he's peaking at the right time. 5 top 15s in the last 6 events, including 2 top 5s. So seemingly the game is kind of coming together, and he's getting some consistent results. So Fleetwood starts the card. And then Wyndham Clark, who may be getting a little bit overlooked this week because of all the top guys on the board that are in the field with Rory and Scotty and Xander and John Rahm, etc. But no one's playing better than Wyndham Clark right now. 2 wins, a 3rd, a 5th, and an 11th in his last 5 starts. He was 10th and 11th here at the Scottish the last 2 years when his game wasn't in near the shape that it is now. Plus, he was T4 at the Open last year at Portrush. That was his best ever Open finish. So Wyndham Clark makes the card. Mentioned one of the live guys I did play, and he's been really the only guy that I think has kind of shown out in the majors this year with the T3 at the Masters, T7 at the U.S. Open, and that's Terrell Hatton, who won last month at Andalusia and was 7th at the U.S. Open. Guy that's really good on links. He's won the Dunhill Links Championship in Scotland 3 times. And maybe he's going to relish kind of playing against the best of the best, playing against the best PGA Tour and DP World Tour guys again, and that may motivate him a little bit. So Terrell Hatton makes the card, as does Kurt Kitayama at around 50-ish to 1, 2nd in ball striking on the tour behind Scotty Scheffler, and 3rd in total driving behind Scotty and Ludwig Aubert. kind of gets better when the scoring gets tougher. Like I mentioned, he was runner-up here to Shoffley in 2022. So Kurt Kitayama, Nikolai Højgaard, 55-1. He has a 4th and a 6th here, 2 of the last 3 years. And he's one of the longest hitters off the tee. And long hitters, if you look at the leaderboard last year with Rory and Goddard and Marco Penge and Nikolai, long hitters have done well here recently. And I think, finishing 14th at the Travelers, broke that miscut streak, shot 62 in the final round. So maybe that's motivation or, something I think to, be a leap-off point to continue to play well. And then the 2 bombs, we're going to try to get a bomb home. We didn't get one last week, but how about Jake Knapp, who you can get in the 70s or 80-ish to 1, who had the thumb injury, so that's why he missed a couple months, and he's had a couple starts since where he's kind of shaken off the rust. Real long hitter off the tee. And keep in mind, this guy hadn't finished worse than 11th in 7 of his first 8 events this season, where he had 5 top 10s. So Knapp kind of fits maybe that Goddard mold a little bit of a guy that's a pretty big hitter off the tee, can get hot with the putter. So I played Jake Knapp, and then the bomb really to close it out, though, is at 200-1. And he's a big hitting Swede named Jesper Svensson, who is the last 2 finishes coming in, 9th at the Byron Nelson, 4th at the RBC Canadian Open. So not a lot of action over the last couple months in terms of playing. He's had some gaps in the schedule, but Jesper Svensson, I think, is one of those guys. There's going to be some European player that a lot of people hadn't heard of that'll get on this first stage of the leaderboard. It happens every year, and I think it might be Jesper this time around.
Svensson at our local shop here at Bally's in the Queen. The DraftKings outlet is 210-1. Charlie, if you have an outright on Svensson, you are going to hedge if the opportunity presents itself. I'm going to make you. I'll make the ticket for you.
Oh, goody. We can watch together.
Wes, have you had, don't tell me you had Egypt yesterday or maybe the U.S. To advance the night before. How's your World Cup tickets going, if any?
It's going very well. The Argentina matches are fun to watch, but maybe not fun to bet if you're betting them because it is stressful. But when you've got the GOAT, man, when you've got Messi, you've always got a chance, and there must be something very cool about having that guy play on your team. But I had the nice boring under in the second match, so that was nice to happen. Even though been playing a lot of the overs and the both teams to score in the World Cup, but I really enjoyed it. I've really, number one, we're always suckers for sports on during the day, especially during weekdays. But I've loved it. I've been staying tuned to it and getting engaged and betting it a little bit, and that's it. Those results have been going well, better than the golf, to be honest with you, over the last couple of weeks. So
we've talked more soccer on this show the last week or 2, 3, whatever it's been. Then this is no exaggeration. In 35 years combined. I mean, it's not even close. So, it's the perfect time. It's not during football season in Qatar. I mean, it's the U.S., created some excitement. They ripped it all away, or for me, pretty much all of it away. But we're still watching, and we're still enjoying it. And so we're just going to temper our expectations for our local team. That's about the bottom of it.
That's exactly
we watch the NCAA basketball tournament every year.
We're UNLV football fans, Wes. Sorry.
Basically, yeah. Like the event, even though the Americans are out, it hadn't lost its luster. Or still opportunity to bet it, and I still feel like we got the guns in there. We got Spain and France.
The next thing you'll tell me,
England.
Next thing you'll tell me, some crap program from Blooming can win a national championship in football or something.
Yeah,
come on.
Exactly. And rated top 5 in the preseason. Go figure.
You're the man, Wes, at Wes Reynolds 1 on Twitter. Thank you, buddy. Great stuff as always.
You bet, guys. Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
That's a good one. 2 years ago, I'd have said, Jimmy, what happens first? Indiana wins the national football championship or the U.S. wins the World Cup? You get 4 times as many chances with Indiana.
2 years ago, before Signetti's first game, I mean, the U.S. was still, max like the 12 to 14 range to win it all on the tournament? Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, Indiana was like 70, 70, 70,
no,
80.
There's more teams, obviously.
I get it, but if you want to just Power 4, how many Power 4 teams? 70? What do we have now?
Oh, yeah.
16 times 4. So let's say 60, 65, 70?
68, I think it is.
Okay, and they had 48 in this. I mean, Indiana would have been 65, 64. Before Signetti.
We're back, Jimmy. We got hope. Let's go.
So we're out of Tulane status? No, we're still Tulane. Are we ULL? Can we win a New Orleans Bowl in soccer?
We can win the Gold Cup. Yeah, we can win the Gold
Indiana
Cup.
would have been never. It would have been a hard never. When are they going to win the national title? Never. Ever. But they did.
You ain't pulling me in again. I mean, I was, but I was realistic. I said, I think let's go and give. I think we're on the same page. Give Spain a run for their money. How long are we talking about maybe a collision course of Spain? Because we had a favorable draw and a good show and some life early on the home field.
Never in sports is a tough thing. Maybe somewhere right now. There's a little Messi growing up in somewhere in the United States.
Or a dual national. We could always get one of these they could play for France. They could play for America. Maybe they're inspired and say, you know what, Christian Pulisic got his name on every
ramp up our
commercial.
recruiting budget.
No. I mean, you got to hit the portal, man.
Yeah, get the portal.
You got to hit the international citizenship portal.
What kind of budget we got? We went and bought a coach last
time.
Go
get one from Senegal.
Yes.
Go get one from,
trade him a
get one from Haiti.
Recruiting for Balogun worked pretty well this term.
Get one. I'm sorry, England. Hello. Spirit of 250. Give us another one. Don't forget our friends at Go Chevrolet, Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Go Chevrolet West, Go Ford. Great dealership family from the Go Automobile dealership family. My buddies Lee Carney and Nick Richard doing a great job. Mention my name, Jimmy Ott, for VIP pricing. I don't just talk about the vehicles and the great service. I can personally endorse it. The Tahoe I drive came from Go Chevrolet in LaPlace. You know what? The pre-owned vehicle, certified vehicle, gives you a peace of mind when you're buying a pre-owned vehicle. You don't want to pluck down the money on a new car. You get a pre-owned vehicle. Get that peace of mind with the extension of the factory warranty. So certified body shop, concierge service department that is super convenient. It's the Go Automobile dealership family. Go Chevrolet in LaPlace. Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plaquemine. Go Chevrolet West in Plaquemine. And Go Ford in Waveland.
Live at Dick's House of Sport in the Mall, Louisiana. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Our Wednesday consensus golf picks are brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown.
All right, you got to get up real early if you want to watch some of this. I think the local time tee-off is somewhere around 1 a.m. this morning. Is that
exactly right? 1 a.m. will be the first tee time. Mac Meisner, Riggs, Johnston, and Frederick LaCroix.
I'm probably going to miss that one, but you tell us what you think.
Yeah, so we're trying to bounce back off the mat after last week. That was a tough defeat with Ben Coles. But this is an interesting format. You know, Wes mentioned there's 7 live players in this event because they are eligible in the Korn Ferry Tour. Some of those players, John Rahm, Tyrrell Hatton, some of the top names, Patrick Reed, who is not yet eligible on the PGA Tour, even though he's left the Live Tour. So some different names, and also a lot of DP World Tour players, European Tour players. But just because they're European Tour players doesn't mean they're going to play well because it's in Europe. I mean, it's just there's not as much class there as on the PGA Tour. But I do think having some good experience, having decent history on link-style courses is important this week. It's a totally different grass type. It's totally different turf, and the greens are slower, and they roll differently. So if we're going to differentiate this tournament from the other PGA Tour events, that's the difference. And so you've got to look at some of the guys who have that good track record. And I'm going to start with Matt Fitzpatrick. He's plus 2150 right now at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Fitzpatrick, he's showed he can win on the PGA Tour this year, which is something that certain players at the top of this odds board can't say. He's got 3 victories on the year, and he's starting to play good golf once again. He was second runner-up finish at the Canadian Open, 4th place at a couple weeks ago at the Travelers Championship, his last appearance. So he's playing great golf this season. He's one of the top 5 players in the world. But he's also shown that he can do it on links-style courses. He won the 2023 Alfred Dunhill Links Championship. He also finished 4th here last year. So Matt Fitzpatrick, to me, he should be maybe the 3rd name on this odds board. Instead, he's right now 4th or 5th, actually 7th on the DraftKings odds board. So I think that's an unfair price, and I'll take it with Matt Fitzpatrick at plus 2150. You heard his name earlier. He's going to be our consensus pick this week from Wes Reynolds. It's Tyrrell Hatton at 34-1. The LIV player has shown he can do it. Won the Links Championship 3 times on the DP World Tour, but he's also shown he's playing pretty good golf this year. As of his last 6 events, he's got 4 finishes inside the top 10. That includes a win on the LIV Tour, but also a top 5 at the Masters, a top 10 at the U.S. Open. So getting back to a golf course that will look a little bit more familiar to him, I think makes a ton of sense. And he used to play on the Scottish Open back when he was one of the later departures from the PGA Tour. He finished 6th back in 2023 at this event. So like Tyrrell Hatton this week, he's going to be the most popular pick of the week. So he's a consensus pick. It makes sense. Everyone's on him, but I'm going to be on him as well. Tyrrell Hatton, his return to the PGA Tour. Alex Fitzpatrick, 55-1. Yes, I'm taking the Fitzpatrick brothers. I've been doing it quite a bit all year long. But while Alex doesn't have maybe the links track record of his brother, he doesn't have the best records here on this type of surface. The form's just too good. We talked about it since the Zurich win. He's got 1 finish outside the top 25 on the PGA Tour since then. He is making the most of his appearances, and he's doing it at elevated events. This is not an elevated event, but the Travelers being an elevated event, top 10 finish. The Memorial, a top 10 finish at an elevated event at Jack's Place. The Truist, the Cadillac. So he's got 4 top 10 finishes at elevated events. This is essentially an elevated event. It's not coded that way by the PGA Tour, but with this field, with John Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton joining, it's almost a mini major.
It's an elevated event full field.
Yeah,
for sure.
To me, for sure. So Alex Fitzpatrick, maybe he can do it and get a second PGA Tour victory this week at 55-1. Brooks Koepka is 90-1 this week. Now, he has kind of been on that bottom tier of the PGA Tour in his return. He has not earned his way back into the elevated events yet due to his punishment from returning from the LIV Tour, and he missed the cut in his last appearance at the U.S. Open. There was a weird report that he withdrew. He was confused. He talked about it this week. He's like, yeah, I didn't withdraw from this event. So he is in the field this week, but ultimately he's got a good enough track record on links golf. He never won at the British Open, but he's been close. He's been a top 10 machine both at the Dunhill Links and the Open Championship. And remember, Brooks Koepka, before he kind of emerged on the PGA Tour, he played a lot on the European Tour. That was his main tour. So he is used to playing these type of formats. He has a lot more of a longer track record at these type of golf courses than you may think. So while his form is not great, I think you've got a player who's won 5 majors and you're getting him at 90-1. I think it's worth a chance. Eugenio Chacarra, you might see him as Eugenio Lopez Chacarra, whichever site you look at. A Spanish player who once went to LIV and didn't really like his time there. So he's left, and he's now having to earn his way back into the spotlight. He wants to be back on the PGA Tour, but he's got 2 victories last month in June on the European Tour, the DP World Tour. So he's shown he's in decent form. He did miss the cut at the BMW International Open last week, but nevertheless, he is a good European Tour player, currently 59th ranked player in the world, and he's trying to get back on the PGA Tour. This will give him that opportunity. So while he's got 2 wins last month, he showed he's in the right type of frame of mind at the moment, and he's trying to come back from LIV. He'll be motivated this week at 110-1. And finally, a PGA Tour player who has had a rough year this year, but he's starting to show just a sliver of form, and he's got a decent track record on links golf, and that's Corey Connors, the Canadian. He struggles to win. He struggles to put tournaments away. He's got 2 wins to his name on the PGA Tour. Both were the Valero Texas Open. He's not much of a closer. He might be our Ben Coles this week. He might be in the mix and completely let it go. But he had a top 10 at last year's Open Championship. He's finished top 10 before at the Scottish Open. And the weakest part of Corey Connors' game throughout his entire career has been the putter. But for whatever reason, these slower greens that you get on the fescue because they can't speed them up. If the wind blows, you're going to have to stop play. So they keep the greens slow. It's a different type of grass, the fescue grass on these greens, and he tends to do a lot better. So if that can elevate his game a little bit, he's normally a great iron player. You've got 5 par 3s this week, so you've got some longer iron shots that he may have to hit a little bit more often than normal. So Corey Connors at 140 to 1, maybe he can get that win on the PGA Tour outside of Texas. So Fitzpatrick, Hatton, and the other Fitzpatrick, Brooks Koepka, Chikara, and Corey Connors, my 6 picks this week for the Scottish Open. And that makes our one consensus pick, Tyrrell Hatton, who you can find at 34 to 1 at our friends over at Bally's and the DraftKings Sportsbook.
Wyndham Clark, also another one of our contributors, came in with Wyndham Clark along with Wes. So at a little over 35 to 1 as well. So those are our consensus picks, Tyrrell Hatton and Wyndham Clark. I was going to ask you about Fitzpatrick, Alex Fitzpatrick, because I saw the odds were pretty lofty up there, and he seems at 55, 60 to 1.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's just not getting respect in the market yet.
Right. You know,
they're still viewing him as
got his card in a cheap fashion, huh? You know, so brought to you by our friends at Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown. Your law firm for a lifetime. You get in an accident like I did, it's a pain, no doubt. So, hey, what you got to do is you got to call Dana because he can expedite and get you in to see the doctors and the specialists, quicker than you can on your own. He's going to help you with the medical bills and all of that stuff. So it's just going to make it about as pain-free as possible. You get in an accident, the first call has got to be 343-1111 and ocbrown.com. Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown.
Live at Dick's House of Sports in the Mall, Louisiana, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch from Dick's House of Sport in the Mall of Louisiana on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Coming up on August 27th here at Dick's House of Sports, the Pack Wars Rip event in the Collectors Clubhouse. Each participant gets 3 packs of trading cards, competing in interactive challenges and chances to win prizes throughout the event. And, you know, even if you've never opened a pack of cards before, they have this event is fully guided by a moderator, makes it easy for beginners, fun for the whole family. The younger kids can participate, have a great time. There'll be lots of giveaways and some friendly competition. Perfect family night here at Dick's House of Sports. That's on August the 27th. Maybe Humans needed a helpful guide when he got his card the other night, right?
He did, man. He did. Yes. If he would have been to Dick's and come through and that's the cool thing about it, man. You know, at that event, you've never opened a pack of cards. You just don't get it. So this is kind of an educational process as well. There's a moderator. It's fully guided, making it easy for beginners and the whole family, even younger kids, to have a good time participating. See what all the fuss is about on all the trading cards and things like that. So your boy Jake Paul with his card, huh? But, I mean, when you got 52,000 people hours before a Dodgers game.
I know. That's an amazing
story. What the hell's going on?
What are they giving away? Oh, okay.
The straw hat. No, the trading card.
So there's like Comic-Con. You got like Pokemon trading stuff.
That's why I go to San Diego every year for Comic-Con.
I feel like humans can start his own little fast food, establishment, like get together. Just everyone fly in if you want all the fast foods of all the regions.
So Humans and a friend had to pay $250 a piece for their Padre tickets on July 2nd. They hand them the card. They're like, "What is this?" Okay, somebody offers them $500 a piece for their card. They sell them. So he's at $500 in the black. How many hot dogs did he eat? How many Dodger dogs did he eat? Nachos.
Did he do the 999 challenge?
What is that?
Are you familiar with that? 9 hot dogs, 9 beers, 9 innings.
If there's anybody that can do it, man, we were eating at Circa one time, and like an hour later, what y'all hungry again? I'm like, what? Wait, what? So, I mean.
This is the guy with no silverware in his house, right?
No silverware.
Okay.
A couple of sporks.
MLB this afternoon, really nice pitching matchup. Couple All-Stars, Dylan Cease, Logan Webb, Blue Jays and Giants. That's a one afternoon game. It's 2:45 at 2:45 this afternoon. Blue Jays.
No World Cup. I'm so sad.
No World Cup today. Tell me, Jimmy, did you see the?
You good, Max? Are you done? You booked? Kansas City?
Saturday, Argentina, Switzerland.
8 p.m. Central.
I'm going to be with so many Argentinian fans, and I think I'm going to be rooting for my Switzerland.
Good planning by Kansas City because the Royals are out of town. No, that's not a hot thing, but they share. There's plenty of park because they share a parking lot. But if there was 2 events that are going on at the same time, so they're out of town. They're in Camden Yards on Saturday. So that's and they got the great watch party area too. Now,
KC Live, it's a little bit of ways away, but Texas Live, I've been there. The Rangers,
but I've been at Kauffman Stadium, never in Arrowhead.
Same
but
sort
I mean,
of thing.
It's right there.
I'm curious for that, and hopefully, I'll still get to watch the McGregor fight after somewhere. But I'm asking a lot at that point. I'm excited. World Cup. I mean, I didn't know if I'd make it for a home World Cup match, but it's going to happen.
Okay, McGregor's won how many matches in 9-year span?
Oh, in 9 years, it's been a while since he's fought.
One.
In 9 years, yeah. Broke his leg. Poirier just got him 2 out of 3.
I'm
not a big McGregor guy.
How many units are you up if you bet the team to that team is trailing wins the game in the World Cup? Every game.
Oh, wow.
How many units?
57 units up. That's for a low-scoring sport. They've had these lead changes, too.
Thanks to Dick's House of Sports for being our host.
Everything but ULL, our team.
Tomorrow we're at the original Walk-Ons. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Stay tuned for Hunt 104.5.